Me sale solamente el de... Déjame. Me está dando la oportunidad de firmar con otra cuenta, a ver si me...
Ah, ¿qué me bota? Espérate, que es que me ha botado 2 veces. Yo hago algún clic en algo y me bota, me ha botado 2 veces. No, aquí estoy. Está live.
Ahora sí entré. No he recibido nada. No me entró nada a ninguna de los correos.
Pues no sé entonces qué hacer. Espérate un momento.
A ver, tengo algo aquí donde estoy en Google Notification. Ajá. Entonces tengo tu nombre. Ahora me salió lo mismo.
¿Qué te sale?
Me salió, ¿te ve la foto tuya?
Sí.
Y debajo está Activities sobre TPRS Classroom.
Sí. No, ya lo encontré, espérate. Creo que ya encontré lo que quiero hacer. Perfecto, ahí va la invitación otra vez para todo el mundo.
Ok. Está el círculo con el triángulo de video y a mano derecha tiene un óvalo.
Bueno, también te puedo mandar el link completo.
Ok. Estoy mirando a ver si...
Ahí les puse el link.
No me ha entrado nada todavía.
Mira, ahí está el link. Lo acabo de poner debajo de mi nombre, está.
Ok, déjame entrar de nuevo, a ver. Ok, ya lo vi. Pero entonces, ¿cómo acceso? ¿Cómo voy al link?
¿Lo tienes que copiar?
Ok, déjame... Ay, lo perdí ahora, un segundito. No, ahora no me sale. No me salió el link ni nada. Ahora perdí todo. A ver, déjame entrar de nuevo.
Sí, ahí está el link. Lo acabo de poner debajo de mi nombre, está.
Ok, déjame entrar de nuevo, a ver. Ahora ni te encuentro, peor todavía. Y ya lo vi.
Pero yo te veo, ya estoy viendo gente. ¡Bravo!
Sí, no, yo no veo nada todavía. A ver.
¡Bravo! Ya veo gente. Hola.
Aquí estamos, hola.
Kat, hola.
Hola, Teba, ¿cómo te encuentras? Por fin lo has conseguido.
¡Ya! ¡Aprendí!
No me sale, queda.
Dale, Marta, debajo de mi nombre está
Sí.
el link.
No, espérate. ¿Me ves?
No, yo no te veo todavía.
Me sale que te estoy llamando.
Sí, pero yo no te puedo contestar.
Sí, déjame ver. Pero no encuentro el link, no me sale de nuevo. Como tú me lo pusiste la primera vez.
Vuelve a entrar a mí.
Yo ni sé ni lo que hice, déjame empezar de nuevo.
Bueno, búscalo. Pero te voy a colgar, preciosa.
Bueno.
Chao.
Chao.
Hello.
Hello.
Hola.
Hola, Lia.
Hola.
This is good. The thing is that what I'm trying to do is an live podcast, so anybody can join. So I just posted the link. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to give you good music till we start. How do you like that? I'm going to give you some Paquito de Lucía or
Así me gusta.
una guitarrita. A ver qué tengo aquí. Un ensamble de cuerdas colombianas. Sí, porque todavía tenemos 11 minutos. Tania, come here, sit here. Okay, did you enjoy the summer?
It was really fast.
Mm,
It went too fast.
but good, fast good.
Yeah, it was good. Busy. Felt good busy.
Good busy. Okay. Me too. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Ladies, how did you get into the workshop? Did you click the link?
Ay. I bought my dog to say hi.
Oh, perrito.
Dile hola. Hi. La pobre, estaba durmiendo y yo le saqué de ese sueño. Ay, bendita. I'm sorry, baby.
Yeah.
Bueno, chicas, what happened with my music? Let's see what happened with my music.
Ay. A bailar. Un besito. Me diste un besito. Me diste un besito. Oh, mi niña.
I'm getting like
Okay, I'm going to get our PowerPoint. So I'm sure that it's there. I'm going to get a cup of coffee.
yeah, maybe I'll go back in again.
Hola. Okay, we have two. Nobody, I received that. People are trying to call me, but since I'm... Okay, join, bravo, Amy. Annie. Hola. Hello. Hello. Sí, dime. Bueno, Annie ya entró. Yo no entiendo por qué no puedes entrar. Pero yo te envié la invitación. Mira los emails. Bueno, ¿a qué email quieres que te invite? Brito Osuna-Tech. Ok. Listo, ahí está. Ya te lo estoy mandando otra vez. Listo, ya te volví a invitar. Listo, ya te volví a invitar, entonces yo creo que ya puedes. Perfecto. Hola, Ani. Okay, I'm going for coffee. I will be back. But I don't know what happened to my music. I wanted to give you some nice.
Ahora vuelven.
Está bien, no te preocupes. Mm, Here it is.
Piedad, ¿me ves?
Un momento, porque estaba mirando otra cosa. Sí, ya apareciste.
Gracias.
Perfecto, perfecto. Sí, ya estás ahí sin ningún problema. Yo les quería ir a poner música, pero no sé por qué no puedo poner música.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
No sé.
Okay.
Voy por un paquito de Lucía, mejor.
Okay.
Ladies, can you see the PowerPoint,
Yes.
the slideshow?
Sí, apareció. Ahí.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, good. Do you like the music? Can you hear the music?
No, no.
No.
No? Oh.
You scared me.
Why?
You screamed no.
Oh.
Okay, ladies, I want for coffee, and then we have. Okay, but that's around here. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of, yes, no problem.
Me dice que no.
I don't know why.
You are not going to see anything. No, nobody will see. That's what I don't want. I will hide you. Because you want to see. Okay, 7:30.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, now the music is gone. This is good. Okay, now I think that I'm going to need to. Praise the Lord. Okay. We had this issue before. If I block everybody's microphone, I cannot hear you. But there is coming a lot of background noise from somebody. So I really don't know what to do. I need you to block your microphones. I'm hearing a lot of noise from somebody, but I don't know what the somebody is.
It's not me.
Okay, Leah has the microphone off. I'm hearing a lot of dishes in the background. Whoever is close to a kitchen needs to please block your microphone. And then when you have a question, that's what I'm going to recommend for everybody. Please just block your microphones. And when you have a question, you turn it on. So thank you, Leah. Thank you, Martha. Kat, I still have you. Thank you, Isabel. I need you to block your microphone. Annie. Thank you. Perfect. Can you hear me? You can wave your hands because I can see you. Perfect. Perfect. So do you, I'm going to go in English, or that, does anybody doesn't teach Spanish? Do you want me to go in English or in Spanish? You don't care. Okay, unblock your microphones if you want to do it in Spanish. Okay, you are good. So I'm going to continue in English. Perfect. Okay, so it's so good to see you and to have you here. Welcome back to a new school year for all of us. This is, for me, it's very exciting. I went to the national conference in Reston. It was a full week of just pure joy, as I said in my little newsletter. It was phenomenal. It was so good seeing old friends, new friends. My 2 sessions went well, and I was very happy about that. I learned a lot. There is always something to learn. I stayed the whole time with Jason, 3 days in the elementary track. And the beautiful thing is that I started teaching elementary before he started with elementary. He used to be a high school and a middle school teacher, and he visited me a few times. So it's so beautiful to see now that he went on with elementary. He's a gypsy teacher. He goes from classroom to classroom, and he's doing the TPRS once or twice a week, really once a week in each classroom. And we really, I don't know if I remember that I shared with you that not this past year, but 2 years ago, I also taught once a week at another school. I teach 3 days in a row. But I went to another school and taught period 0, once a week, 3 different 5th graders. And I realized, no problem, our method is good for everything. We follow the method let us go wherever we want to go. So I offered today, last year I did the first workshop in lesson planning. This is going to, like what we are going to do today is really, how do we select the activities? So it's related to what we are doing now, getting ready to start with our school year. So I'm going to go back to the presentation, to the slideshow, and how do we select the activities? I'm going to start with my premises. If at any time you want to stop me, just unblock the microphone and ask something. And I want to be sure that you are seeing. I prefer to keep all the slides, that you also can see the slides, not just the one that we are seeing. It's not that big of a difference in size, but I think that then more or less you know what is that I'm talking about. And if at any time you want me to go back to something, I will be happy to do it. So, activities that are compatible with TPRS and comprehensible input. In February, my little story here, I was attending Lori Clark's session, a full day workshop on embedded reading. And at some point, one of the attendants asked Lori, do you have activities that go with the embedded reading? And she was very kind and very diplomatic, and I don't remember what she answered. I would have answered point blank, this is the activity. In TPRS and in comprehensible input, we don't need activities. That is the activity. So when we think of the 3 steps, and now Blaine is talking about the 4th one, like a kind of a 4th step to reinforce everything, we are the activity. What we do is the activity. You don't need details. You don't need a lot of busy work for the students and for you. So the main prep for me, this is the idea, is efficiency for proficiency. How can we use the time that we have with the students in the most efficient way? And all of you in the workshop, as soon as we finish, I will share this PowerPoint, this presentation with you. We will create, like before, a folder with everything that comes from this workshop, and I will share the folder with everybody. So for me, this is the most important part. We need to use our time so wisely. We only have 42 minutes if we are, or 50, or 80 if you have the blocks. So when you have that limited time with the students, at the end of the year, we are having, what, 160 hours in total with the students? So we need to treasure every second that we spend with the students. So we need really to plan that we are all the time doing the best for the students. For me, it's with clear goals. We need to know what is that we are doing there and what is that we are teaching, and with no doubt at all that what we go for acquisition, we are not teaching the language. We are helping the students to acquire the language. And with this, I'm going to jump to this gorgeous, beautiful thing that was exhibited in one of the sessions in the national TPRS. When we are acquiring, we first learn to listen. So at the beginning, the students are only listening, mostly to us, to the teacher. So we are the main and only source at the beginning. So what are the activities? Talk, talk, talk. So how we talk and when we talk is what makes the activity. After they listen for a while, they learn to read. But they don't learn to read anything. They learn to read what we listen. So they learn to read a story, a poem, a song, a chapter that is related to the vocabulary that we are learning. So they are not reading something completely different for what they are being listening from us. Then the students learn to write what they read and to write what they listened to. So it makes sense. We don't want them to write about gardening when you are teaching about weather. Or if you are reading a novel that has to do with the Dia de los Muertos, you cannot be reading something about Christmas. It's like you need to be very consistent. That's what we think, that the repetition from all the skills is what really gives the student the acquisition. And it's only at the end that the students speak. When they have heard, read, and wrote that thing that they are going to be speaking about. So they respond to our questions, but they are not supposed to be speaking like spontaneously. I hope that was clear. So then the activities that we need to plan are simply the activities that go with the 3 steps of the method. And in this, I'm going to be so bad. I wrote this in the little article that I have on TPRS. What really simply drove me to TPRS is that it's a method. It's a clear method with steps. And then that there are flexibility. Yes, we have flexibility, so we can add activities. So then if you go to a wood workshop and you learn something that you like it, can you integrate that? Yes, as long as it fits into the method. Think of the method as a framework. So we have 3 steps. First step is to introduce the structures of the vocabulary. We convey the meaning. Then we make up a story in class. That's what the storytelling from Blaine Ray is. It's a story that you have to create in class. The only thing that you bring, and we will see this in a minute, is the skeleton story. But you create that with the students. And then after that, the step 3 is the literacy, is reading. And with pre-readers is playing about the same vocabulary that you have heard. So then, for me, this is the beautiful thing of TPRS. If I follow the steps in each lesson, by the end of each lesson, I have a solid something. That then in lesson 2, if I follow the steps again, I'm building on my frame. And then if I find something that is really cool and I liked it, I have to think in which one of these steps that fits and how I can make it part of my whole structure and not just one nice, fun activity. Bingo. We all like to play bingo. The students love bingo. Who doesn't like to play bingo? It's so great. But where do you think that bingo fits in this structure? Can you teach new vocabulary through a bingo game? Can you make up a story with a bingo? Can you read with bingo? Or bingo is just a game? So then when you have game day, you play bingo. Or can bingo be a good activity to say a lot of repetitions of something? Numbers. But they need to know the numbers. So you can use bingo maybe at the end of the step 1, or you can use bingo in step 4. So then you cannot simply one day, oh, let's play bingo. Because for me, and I learned this from Susan Gross 15 years ago, she is the maestra. You need to go to her website, and she is the maestra. I learned from her. She is so clear, so good, so brilliant. If you don't plan the activities integrated into the method, within the method, you are wasting your time. You are just having fun. And she said that she was an excellent teacher. She had maybe 200 phenomenal games. And when she found TPRS, she threw the games to the garbage. And people was begging her, please, please, please. She said, no. Games are busy work. It's entertaining. But that's not taking us towards fluency. We want to teach for fluency. We want to teach for acquisition. So, stay with the frame of the method. We have one first step, conveying the method. What is that mostly Blaine says? What are the activities when we are teaching vocabulary, conveying meaning? The students copy the words, we translate the words, and we start with the repetitions. In a few minutes, I'm going to tell you how I do it, because I do more than that. In the story asking. The story asking, that is the second step, we don't teach vocabulary because they already know it. We circle and circle and circle. We make up a story. Then we do parking. We stop there and continue asking and asking questions and enriching this stupid story that we are creating with them. And then, what is that we are having? What is the activity? Explain conversation. We are asking questions. They are answering our questions. With their answers, we make up enriched sentences. And we are going to some place with this mini story that is created there while you have or not your students acting out the story. You, the teacher, control the story, and what you are doing is putting that vocabulary in context. It's the first context, but you create the context with the students. Step 3 is always reading. You are reading a fixed something. Could be short, could be long, or could be embedded. And if you don't know what these words are, please write the question over there and ask at the end, or turn that microphone on and ask the question. So, do I have a question? Okay. So, what is going on then after that? And this is a new thing from the National. Blaine is talking more about the step 4. Is that after these 3 basic ones, we, We is like me, like Jason Fritz, like Martina Bex, like we, the experts, ha ha ha. We do things that because we want to enrich, because we think that sometimes we need more than that. So these other narratives that they don't think that they are TPRS per se, because this is the key element, the TPRS, the story asking. So if this is not TPRS, this is just bringing other narratives to the classroom. So that's what movie talk is about. That's what learning songs is about. That's what games that have a lot of input are about. And for me, is my learning centers. So if you go to my website, I explain, and I didn't finish, but I have been adding and writing a lot and learning how to play more with my website that looks nicer. So go to the learning centers, and I will talk about a little more about the learning centers. And then we all need output. Output has to be within our framework. At some point, these students have to produce something so we know if they can really do something with the language. So it's any kind of writing. For me, I always do it at the end of the unit. Bryce posted in Facebook that he does it every Monday for the first 5 minutes of the class. The students do time writing, so there is no, it's really what they have really absorbed. Presenting, the students have to, for me, I never ask for presentations, but they need to be able, when they want to do it, to present. What I mean by this, like with my students in elementary school, we learn about the weather, and I give them the weather report of the capital city of that day, and they fill out a chart. They need to be able to talk and help me making the full map of Latin America that day. So we know where is sunny, where is cloudy, and then we more or less check if there is like a pattern of weather in South America. And then if I have access, I can really go into the weather channel and see a real map of Latin America to see what's going on. So then they need to be able to say that it's raining in Buenos Aires, or that it's snowing in Buenos Aires, or that Montevideo is in a total storm, or that in Puerto Rico they have a hurricane, whatever. So then that for me is output, that for me is presented. They are responding to something, because I don't think that we should force our students to present something, because that's not natural language at all. And playing, but just think of this. If I tell you right now that I want all of us to play Lulo, and Lulo is a game from Spain, and you have never played Lulo, I need to spend a lot of time teaching you how to play Lulo. If I am doing that in the target language, it's a great use of the time, because they have to listen to you to understand how to play, and then we can play. But if they don't know how to play, you need to start with that part. So playing is more that you can say to them, okay, you can play Uno. Do you use the language when you play Uno? No. But do you use the language when you play fish? Yes. So then you need to select games when playing means output is really that they are speaking the language. Okay, so then for me, the activities, what are the activities? And I'm going to start right now one by one. What are the really TPRS activities that we do? And this chart, and since you are going to get a copy of this, keep this chart. This is the frame. If your activities fit into the frame, grab them, take them. But writing from those materials that we see out there, that they are pictures and they say, the kid likes to, and there is a list of likes to, that makes no sense. So those kind of things, or those detours, are just busy work that doesn't go to comprehension. It's busy work that students do mechanically, Like when you have any homework that you give him the verb in infinitive for them to fill a blank, that is mechanic. The brain doesn't see that at all. And now that I say the word brain, I'm going to the brain. What does the brain says about this? What is that the brain research says about languages? And this is a promise. I did it last year when I promised you in my first one that I was going to put the SGOs and the basic standards and all those things. I read, my readings during the summer were about the brain, not only for learning languages, but for healing. I don't know if I have shared with all of you, I am a Reiki master, and I continue training myself on how to bring more healing into the world. So I did a lot of brain research and a lot of something that is called neuroplasticity, and it's that the brain changes all the time. Learning is a brain change. When we learn something, we are changing the physical structure of our brain. So what is that the brain needs or likes in order to change? Whatever we bring to the brain is new. The brain loves new things. That's what people get addicted to Facebook and to Twitter, because every 3 seconds you have a new post. You can read something new. That is a very important thing. The brain loves new things. So in every single lesson, we should bring something new. Remember, less is more. But we need to bring something new. Zero stress. When the brain is, when you are stressed, the part of the brain that absorbs new information gets shut because you are protecting. So the brain cannot receive new things when the brain is stressed because the brain is in alert mode. So if the student thinks that you may attack him, that you may embarrass him, that you are going to point on him, that you are going to pick on him, that you are going to ask him a question, the student is so stressed, protecting himself from what he's going to do when you attack him, that the kid has no clue what's going on in class. And if the kid sadly is stressed, not because of us, but because of the terrible household that the kid lives in, we need to bring so many elements so the kid relaxes in our classroom. So if the kid needs a pencil, instead of sending him to the locker and telling him how terrible he is because he doesn't have a pencil in your classroom, have a bag of pencils. So everybody always has the minimum needs covered and doesn't have to feel an idiot because he forgot the pencil again. So keep your classroom zero stress. Paper, you forgot your notebook, here is paper for you today. And then tomorrow we will staple, glue it, tape it, whatever. So don't make the kids feel any stress, don't add. They bring sometimes enough from their houses. Laughter, confirmed with brain research. When we laugh, when we are in a nice mood, when the teacher is laughing, laughter is contagious. The brain opens up. There are windows in the brain that open up. Learning happens when those parts of the brain, I'm not going to fill you with all this terminology because it makes no sense, but the parts of the brain that receive the new information are ready when you are laughing. So then you always remember what happened in the party because most of the time you were laughing. So remember just that. When you are happy and you are laughing, easy for learning. This is for those of you who have been with me before. I love this multi-sensory way of teaching. Multiple connections. If the brain can grab the information from multiple parts, the information will be recorded through different parts. It's like when you do a search. You can search for author, title, topic. So then think in your brain that way too. So then if you bring the information and the brain can make multiple connections, then it will be retrieved from multiple areas. Physical movement. Fantastic. Physical movement produces new neurons. and are ready to be used when they are produced. So I decided I'm going back to start my classes with dancing. I used to do that. And when I switched classrooms, they have been switching me classrooms. I have a classroom, but I have had a different classroom for the last 4 years. Every year, a different classroom. So it's so complicated to really settle. It's like, finally, when I'm settling, they tell me, oh, no, next year you will be in another classroom. But physical movement, march, TPR, we do TPR, but we do TPR only when we teach new vocabulary. So then make up something to start your classes with some physical movement. 3 minutes, it's enough. Oh, this is the coolest thing, the paying attention. All the brain research, especially for us in languages. And what I said that I promised to do is that I'm going to publish what I learned about learning languages from my brain readings during the summer. Babies don't have to pay attention. Toddlers don't have to pay attention. The brain is learning absolutely every single thing. That's why they say that babies learn like a sponge, but I didn't know why. I learned this summer why. It's because the brain needs to store absolutely every single thing because the brain doesn't know yet if it's important or not. It's after the brain is mapped that it happens like between 2 and 3 years old. The brain gets more or less organized, so then the kid already has the information that the baby or the toddler needs to start. After that, that is very much when we start going to school, we need to pay attention. So you need to find a way that your students are paying attention. I told this to my students, but then it's like, they need to pay attention. If you pay attention, what I say to my students is, if you pay attention to me in class, you never have to study and I will never quiz you. So pay attention to me and I promise that you will learn the language. And then I always ask the students that have been with me, because my class is elective, so I have new kids every single cycle. Ask the other ones, do I quiz? No. Do I give tests? No. Do you learn Spanish? Yes. So if you pay attention and you are with me during those 43 minutes for the 3 days, I promise you, you will learn. And they do. So the other part that the brain says, and this, if you remember, this is also what Krashen says. I'm Blaine. Whatever you are listening to has to be interesting. And Krashen is saying right now, more than interesting, compelling. That you cannot put that book down, so you cannot let the teacher go. And then if your students have said that to you ever, they have done it to me, and they bring tears to my eyes. When the bell rings and the student says, really? It's over? Or one day, one of the students just crossed her arms and said, I'm not leaving this classroom. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here all day long. And I was with tears in my eyes because it was compelling. They wanted to be there. They wanted to stay there. The bell rang and they are not ready to go. They are ready to continue. So that's what compelling means. So what am I talking about this when we think of the activities? Because this is our job. How do we select the activities? Think that everything that you do has to follow this. If it's not compelling, if it's not interesting, if they don't pay attention, if you don't have a little physical movement, and if you are not laughing, and if it's stressful, and they already know it, you wasted your time. And that's what you want to do. We don't want to waste our time ever. Okay, so step 1. These are the activities. If you have been with me before in other workshops, this is it. For Blaine, the activity is that he writes on the board and the students copy and that he translates. For me, that's not enough. For me, this is when I do the dictation. And they hear the word and they write whatever they hear. This is how they learn in my classroom the sounds of the language. So then they write rojo when I say rojo, because they spell an H, because for them the H sounds. And then I say, no, I didn't say rojo. I say rojo, because in Spanish, the H sound is made by the J, period. And then we learn to spell because we spell all the words, not because we learn the alphabet. Wasting your time. Teaching the alphabet never can be an activity. Don't waste your time. For me then, after they write and copy, that's the thing, is that for me they don't copy. So, I'm going to put this in parentheses because I want to be totally loyal to Blaine, but in my class they don't copy. I dictate, they write, and then we check the spelling. And that's how we learn the sounds of the language. And that's how we learn how to spell. Then I go for illustration. They have to illustrate. We have to illustrate. And those of you who have been with me, look at what I found. Exactly the thing with the radiant thinking. We don't like lists. The brain hates lists. The brain likes from the center out. So you draw something that is the main idea of the vocabulary for the page, for the day, for the lesson. Then you ask them to divide in 4 or 8, whatever, and then whatever it is, they write, and then they draw. I'm sorry, let's put this back in place. So this is how I do it. And I was so happy that I found that image. So then, what goes after this? What is the next activity? Okay, translation is very important. It needs to be clear that football is soccer. It needs to be totally clear that abuela is grandma. Because then from here, we are going to start doing the repetitions. So you choose the activities. TPR. Remember PPR? I'm going to do a PPR with you right now. Gestures, PQA, personalized questions and answers, and PMS, no ladies, is not the one that we know, it's another one, is personalized mini story. So, I'm going to spell this for you so we are never confused. Total physical response. This for me is partial physical response, that is also part of the Asher idea. Gestures is that you make up gestures. I hate that. I don't do this, but they do it. PQA is personalized questions and answers. And PMS, I don't know where is it. Ah! Excuse me, I need to rescue my PMS. Something that we never want to rescue, but sometimes have to be rescued. So, personal mini story. And is that after the PQA, you can make a story with that. So, do you have to do all of them? No. You think which ones you want to do. You think according to the words, according to the structures that you are that you are using. Do you want total physical response? Does it make sense to do total physical response? For me, total physical response is only for verbs, active verbs. Walk is only walk, run is only run, sit down is only sit down. Partial physical response, I do it sometimes with verbs, but especially with nouns. With nouns that you cannot grab. You can grab the lapis, you can grab the notebook, but you cannot grab the lunch. So then that's when I do it. I'm going to do the PP part. I'm going to do it with the next one with you so you realize what it is. Gesture is that you choose a gesture to do the TPR. I don't do that. I rarely do that. I mean, I never do that. Personalized questions and answers, I do that a lot. And it's just asking questions. Bedroom. How big is your bedroom? Do you share your bedroom? And let's talk about bedroom. So by the end of the supposed to be conversation, you have said bedroom, about 70 times. That's the idea. And the personalized mini stories that with the answers, with these answers is that you make the mini story. And then you repeat, not asking questions anymore, what the student says. And with those answers, you create a mini story. But this is not the story asking. This is very brief. This is just about the bathroom. So then it's like, yeah, it's personal and it's stupid. Don't worry about it. Okay, so then this is one of my PPPs because I really think that we need, I believe in the multisensory approach. We really, for me, and the more I read about the brain, the more we need the senses and the more we need all of them. The classroom should have music. The classroom should have textures, smells, everything possible. The books should have textures. Like, we need to go through all the senses. So, my plate sample is that I use it in my second lesson with my third graders. And then I use everything. I bring the cheapest plates from ShopRite that they give me $300 for $2 or something like that. Cheap, because you are not going to put anything there. You are going to draw on them. And it's much more fun for the kids to have a paper plate than to have a piece of paper. So then here you have the texture, you have the hand, you have the eyes, you have all the senses. So you have the plate, and then in the language, I say to the kids, divide the plate in two parts. So they draw this line. So then after they draw the line, I ask the kids to take any crayon and draw stars. And then in one of the parts, they are going to draw stars. So, are you drawing the stars? Oh, no, not from here. That's the wedding. No. Hey, I want to upload. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not doing this one. It's the search. Let's search stars. So you have the stars. So the kids have the star. So you want a star. Do we like this one? Yes. Beautiful. Perfect. Yes, that one. Beautiful, gorgeous. So the kids draw stars. Bravo. And then you said that they can draw the moon. So that is the night. And then the other one is the day. So here is where I start my PPR. And not with a finger, not with a pencil, with something fun. So I go to the dollar store and I buy firemen, the little figurines, soldiers, anything. Something that not only likes the girls. Be careful. More girls like firemen and police officers than boys are going to like little dolls. So I always buy things like that. And also I'm very feminine, but I have a lot of testosterone. So I like firemen and police officers. I love testosterone. Okay, so then you say the two words in Spanish or in your language. Noche, día, and what they are doing is pointing to the thing. So they point here, they point here, they point here, they point here. When you are sure that they know the difference, that this is noche and this is día, then you ask them, again in the language, please draw a line and divide the día in two parts. So then after that, you ask them, what are the two parts of the day? So then we know, these are the four words that I'm teaching. Noche, día, mañana, and tarde. So then in the morning, you want them, it doesn't matter which one is morning and which one is day, the same thing. You ask them, please, to for me, nothing says that is the morning like a kikiriki from the rooster. So then they choose whatever rooster you like. Let's like this one. So they draw something that for them is the morning. And then the afternoon, for me, the afternoon has to be the sunset. And even if they don't like the sunset, I ask them to do the sunset. Because we are sure that it's the afternoon if we have the sunset. And if it's in the Caribbean, much better. But since I come from the mountains, for me, the sunset is not the sun. I'm sorry, I'm in the mountains. I like the mountains, so I draw my mountains and my sunset in the mountains. Oh my God, these gringos only like the sunset by the beach. No, no, no. This is bad. Okay, I'm going to give up. This sunset is good enough for me. Let's do it. So, the sunset. So now you have 4 words. Noche, mañana, and tarde. And día is this beautiful line that divides the afternoon and the morning. So here you have everything. For me, they have already written the 4 words. We write the words, and then we dive into this. So do you have to do all of them? No. I dictate, they wrote, check the spelling. There is no illustration because it's too much time. Then translations, then I go to repetitions. This day I only do partial physical response. And then they create the board for the game. And they think that it's a game. And I'm happy. Oh, that's also very important with the brain. The brain is happy thinking that it's a game. Yes, it's a game. It's the game of learning. Some administrators don't like that. Too bad for them. They haven't read enough about brain. It's okay. If I say to you, let's play a game, that if I say to you, let's write the words. If I say to my students, okay, let's do a session of TPR. It's completely different if I say, okay, let's go and play with the words. Let's go. You are going to translate with your body. Let's play the game. I say the word, you act it out. Then that brain is so open to learn. So, going back, when you are planning, you have this. This is your first activity, the first goal, the first step, convey meaning. How are you going to do it? How you are going to teach the new structures and the new words, and how are you going to get the repetitions? That's the activity. You don't have to do anything else. In TPRS, we are the activity. No more activities, no more details, no more anything. They don't have to match anything with anything. Yeah, that's enough. So then you use all your time doing something that really goes for acquisition and really goes for fluency. Okay, I'm going to breathe. If anybody has a question or a comment, turn those microphones on. I hope you all are there. Are you sleeping? No, you are not sleeping. No, yes, I'm checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bravo! I like this. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Step 2. Step 2 is story asking. And story asking is the activity. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to prepare any activities. You only have to create a skeleton story. With whatever vocabulary you are teaching, with whatever meaning you conveyed in step 1, you are going to move to this. In middle school and high school, a lot of teachers do this the same day. They don't spend a lot of time teaching the vocabulary and they move to this. In elementary, I spend some time in my step 1, and I have found that the kids, those words stay with the kids forever. Because we play with them, because I'm learning more. I need somebody to turn the microphone off because I'm hearing some background noise. So whoever has the microphone on, please turn it off. My students in elementary, and what I was just saying is that I'm studying more about the learning at a younger age, because in middle school and in high school, I jump faster from step 1 to step 2. And most of the time I did that the same day. I went either from a mini story, like the step one was more mini story and more of this. So then you go to the story asking when they are ready. Did you hear what I said? That's what we need to know. When do you move to the next? When they are ready. When you see that they are ready. It's not after 31 minutes. It's not after 2 days. It's when they are ready. So what is the story asking? That's the activity. The activity is that you ask questions and they answer the questions, and then when they answer, you circle, and after you circle, you park. So the only thing that you need to know is the skeleton story, because all the details from parking come from the answers that the students give you. So that's why the class owns the story, and you don't even have to remember, because you can be teaching 4 sessions of Spanish 2, and you are teaching the same skeleton story. Every single story is going to be different because the students are creating it. So then the next day when you go back to the story and you say, okay, so then Martha is a nurse. No, she's not a nurse. She's an astronaut. So then you remember that the nurse is in cycle 3 then, or in period 4. It's like, oh, okay, because they have the story. You don't need to remember anything. You don't need to prepare anything. The story asking is the activity. It's just a pure, sincere conversation between you and your students about a stupid story that you are creating with them. It doesn't have to be phenomenal. It doesn't have to be true. You decide. And in this, for me, was very good to go to Reston in July, because I had a good conversation with Blaine and Jason and Vaughn. Vaughn is Blaine's son, about this, about where is that the other things that we are doing come, and why they were saying that those other things are not TPRS, because the brand activity is this one. If you do this, and this usually takes 1 class, this is a good 30 minutes. When you put all that vocabulary that you taught before in context, they know it because you repeat it enough. So what you are doing is just circling and circling and circling and making the story come alive. I'm going to add here another thing. You are doing 2 things. You have to create the skeleton story. This is your own, the only prep that you need is this one, to create the skeleton story. Okay, I cannot move this, too bad. So let's create another one. What is the other thing that I think we as teachers have to do? We need to create an image in the student's brain. That is what we have to do. That's our job. We create, we come to the class with the skeleton story. What? This doesn't let me to bring it in. Oh no, está loco. Oh no! Because I was pressing the left. The right button. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to place. Can we? Ouch! What did I do? What did I do? Who knows what I did? I don't know what I did. I moved this. Ha ha ha. I found it. Okay. So this is your job. Your job is to create an image in the student's brain. You bring a skeleton story and you create that. So what is the activity for step 2? Talking and talking. Ask questions, listen to the answers, and use the answers. That's the activity. Anything else is busy work that doesn't take us to fluency, that doesn't take us to acquisition. Step 2 is done. If you have questions or comments, turn those microphones on and do it.
How do you
Yes.
pick the skeleton story? What is it? How many lines should I be thinking in advance? How do I
Very few.
do that?
Let's see that you are teaching. Do you like that I'm doing this like this?
Yeah.
Let's see if I have a man. Oh, let me see. Am I insulting anybody? No, we don't have guys today. Okay, so I'm not insulting anybody. Good. Okay, the skeleton story shouldn't be, the skeleton story should be based on the vocabulary that you are teaching. So you may be teaching, I don't know, goes to, likes, and buys. Usually what we teach is really a sentence. So then go to the movies, likes, terror movies. You don't say terror in English? Yeah, you say terror in English. And buys popcorn. That's what you need to do. So then you start. Who? Who is the character of this story? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. You recycle everything that you know about that person. If they know age, size, family, how to dress, whatever. You just recycle. You keep asking questions of anything that you know that they know. So then you have a character. So that character goes to the movies. And here is where parking is. When, where, how. You, to this sentence, you are going to ask all the questions where possible. Who goes to the movies? Who goes to the park or goes to the movies? So you do all the circling with that, and then you start asking questions. When, where, with whom, at what time, which movie, which town, which state. The more specific you get. But you start is with this, and the only thing that you are doing is asking that question. So is Mark. Mark goes to the movies. Okay. When? On Saturday. Which Saturday? If they know the seasons. Which season? Oh, in the spring. In which month during the spring? And in the afternoon or at night? And when, till you have the most specific thing. You have the day, the time, everything. Then where? Where does he go to the movies? Oh, to which specific theater? And then all the questions that you can ask about that sentence. Then you move to the next one. And that's what is creating the story, is the answers. So if you haven't read the Bible, the Green Bible lately, read it. Buy it and read it. I did my homework. I read it as soon as I came back from Washington. I learned with the edition number 2, and now they are in edition number 7. And I was so surprised. My name is 3 times. I didn't know that. They mentioned me in the introduction or the preface of the 6th edition, like one of the experts that held the Alaskan miracle. I didn't know that. So it was so enriching for me. I learned with that Bible 15 years ago. I think that I read it maybe 8 years ago again. It was time to read it again. So we should periodically read it. And I'm going to see if that goes. We should have a reading club of the Green Bible. So then we read one chapter, we read one part, and we discuss what it is and how we do it. Okay, so then this is the skeleton story. Was I clear about that? I don't hear any answer.
Yes.
Okay. So what goes next? Step 3, reading. Activities for reading. Reading! I'm sorry, I'm not, it sounds funny, but I don't know why many teachers, even when they come to TPRS, they want to bring what they are, no, I know why, it's because they want to bring what they are familiar with. So they want all these stupid activities that they learn with and that everybody uses, and they are in the book. And the supervisor is used to that. They don't know that nobody learns with that, but they want activities We don't need activities. The activity is the reading. Reading, I want to be very clear. Reading is the activity. You don't need activities. You read. And reading is reading. You take a text and you go through the content. You translate or you talk about that to check for understanding. I have to tell you, my 5th graders last year, I have such a phenomenal group of students who have been with me 3rd grade and 4th grade. First homework, we usually translate. The students were having difficulties translating because it was so embedded already that they were saying, El chico buys, El chico buys. It's like, very soon I realized these kids don't want to translate. They don't know it, but their brains don't want to translate. So I said, if we don't need to translate, it's fine. Did anybody have issues with any sentence or any word? We review those sentences or those words, but what we did was just talk about that. My reading is a story that I write. I finished. I'm almost ready to create my dollar store. 180 stories are going to be on sale starting on Monday. So then you have my sequence and all these stories. That's what they read. The reading is the story that I gave them the day before for homework. They illustrate for homework and they bring it. And they either illustrate it or not, and with the illustrations I can see how much they understood, because if the drawings are extremely general and lack details, I know that they didn't understand the details and they only understood the main idea. So, reading is reading. You go through the content, you translate, or you talk to check for understanding. What is that you have to do? Select the text. Create the text. Go to PIA's website. Or if you want to get somebody else's, they are others. If you teach with Avancemos, I have stories in Avancemos. If you like the novels, go and buy the novels. If you like Caperucita Roja, Little Red Riding Hood, find a very simple Little Red Riding Hood. So you as a teacher, you only have to select the text. Select the best text for what? The text that goes with this and the text that goes with this. Because this is the lesson. You taught some vocabulary, less is more, then you ask the story, you ask the story, you didn't tell the story, you ask the story. So it's an original story created in the classroom. And then you read a text that uses the same vocabulary. 1, 2, 3, like magic. So this is the core of TPRS. This is the lesson. So what do we need more activities? What do we need? This is what I think that is going on in trainings. This is the activity. You, the teacher, you don't need to do anything else. These are the activities. That's all. So then, why I was saying that Blaine was talking about this step 4. It was because we so creative, so nice, so good, have been saying these things, making life very difficult. So then we have bringing other narratives. This is not bad. I do it. I love to do it. So, staying in the same lesson, which means staying with the same target structures. Do more. Find a movie, a little movie that has the structures. Find a song that has the structures. Find a game that requires input. Input means that they listen, that you talk and they listen, or that they are going to hear something. And then that's the step 4. Stay in the content with a different narrative. So you have it. Either movie talk, either songs, but you don't have to create the stupid activities that are busy work that don't go to fluency. So the only thing that you need to do now, what is the thing? You need to find a little movie of a kid going to the movies. Oh, there are so many commercials about that. And you can just silence the thing and just talk about that. Watch the mini movie and talk about that. That's what movie talk is about. If you find a song that talks about going to the movies, teach the song about going to the movies. If you find a game, teach a game about the movies, whatever it is. And for me, my step 4 is also the learning centers. I always give my students 15 to 20 minutes for going to the centers. Read a book, listen to a book, make up a play. I have all the puppets in my writing center. They are students that learn by writing. And you know what? Let them be. Don't you want your mommy to leave you alone? Don't you want now your husband to leave you alone and your kids to leave you alone? Let's leave the kids alone. Let them learn however they want. And for me, these are my 4 learning centers. I have a reading center. What do we need for a reading center?
Books.
Something to read. Books, thank you, magazines, poems, articles, posters.
Pilar, I have a quick question more on the
Yes.
subject of
Go
the
ahead.
centers. When you're a gypsy teacher like I am, I have no space in my classrooms for me. Everything has been taken over by the classroom teacher. This coming year, I don't know what I'm going into. I don't even have a desk to put my personal items. So what are your suggestions?
My suggestions
like
are
this?
a basket. My suggestions are, and when I was a gypsy,
Okay.
for 4 years. What do you think? That I have been in my beautiful classroom all my life? No. Gypsy for 4 years. I was gypsy in high school. And then I was gypsy in middle school. The funny thing is that I'm not a gypsy in elementary. But I was a gypsy in high school and I was a gypsy in middle school. I carry in one school, when I didn't have to move from the same floor, I asked for one of those. Remember the overhead projectors that are now historical?
Yes.
They have a cart.
Yes.
With the overhead projector. So I had my overhead projector on a cart. The cart was used till the last inch. I bought those things to put papers, like they are like trays that you put one on top of each other. So then I had the homeworks and I have the things to give. I have baskets with books.
I have something similar. I have a
speaker, and I have, at the time, I have a boombox.
My only concern, and I'm going to ask you again for another suggestion. I'm in 4 different floors with no elevators.
Okay, that was when I was in high school, my dear. When I started teaching in high school, not only I was in 3 floors, I was in 2 buildings. So I had, remember the old wheels for an old suitcase? Or am I too old for you? The suitcases didn't have wheels every time. That's new. When I was younger, there were no suitcases with wheels. So they sold like a little truck. Like, you know what a dolly is?
Yes.
Okay, a mini dolly. And they still sell those things. And then I put on top of that a very light plastic basket. And I carry my materials there. It was like so then now you can have a suitcase or you can have something in wheels. And now they sell those kind of baskets in wheels.
Yes.
My suggestion, just that. But don't make it to go everything on top of the other. Put more baskets that you have like shelves. Think like in a mini tall shelf with wheels. So that you have access to your things. And roll it.
Thank you.
Roll it. There is nothing else to do. And so what is the thing? And this one is good from Washington. Less is more for everything. So you bring different books every week. until the students start asking you, oh, you didn't bring the book about the bears? I wanted to read the book about the bears. So you said, I will bring it the next time, and write yourself a note so you really bring it to that class the next time. And for me, like, I have a huge library. I'm going to use some of the things that I learned, and is to take books out of each basket. I have more than 500 books in my library right now. So then what I'm going to do is each cycle, I'm going to expose the books from some topics so they see them. And then when we have free voluntary reading, they can go and take whatever they want. But at least there is a visual motivation of the new books. Okay, what do we need for the writing center? A hand. We need the kids, paper and pencil. And in my classroom, in my school, I am the hostess of something that is called a cart of news. That is just word processors. So they love to type there. So each kid has a file and they type there, and then when it's time, I grab that with the wires and put it in my computer and we print it. So for the writing center, I have puppets. So they can create a little dialogue if they want. I have the news. I have books that don't have words. Senor, I don't know what to write. I want to write, but I don't know what to write about. So I have books. My sister sent me from Colombia the most gorgeous collection that is used by social workers and psychologists to help kids in trauma. Because a kid in trauma sees the trauma in anything. So these are beautiful books with no words. And a kid who has been traumatized can see the terror and the fear in the most beautiful garden. So the psychologists do that, but then my sister sent me a set. I have a set of the most beautiful 10 books that are just images by artists. Get a book that you like and cover the words. And be tuned for that. Check where they sell things for special ed students. There are a lot of materials that are good for us for another language. So then I have a basket with books with no words. I have puppets. I have finger puppets and regular puppets, paper, pencil, and the word processors. And a table that is empty, always there. So it's like a corner. They feel there are two important things here. The reading center can be, I have a carpet with pillows, or they can grab the pillow and sit wherever they want. Sometimes the students ask me, can I sit on top of the table? Yes, of course, you can sit wherever you want. Can I sit under the table? Yes, you can. Can I go and sit inside the closet? Yes, you can. They can sit wherever they want. But then it's important to have a physical space for those that are less creative and the imagination is limited. So create corners. That is like a center, but they can move. Senora, can I write on the window sill? Yes, yes, you can write on top of the window you want, on the tree, yes, of course. It's like you create the center, but you are giving them the idea, and then be flexible. We have the performance center. It's after, you have to hear to my students begging me to read the homework like if it was a play. And they are behind my performance center that is just really like I have two. I have the puppet theater and I have like a mini hall. It's like a mini curtain with the hole in the center with the little two curtains that go. So then they do that there. And I have a recording studio. It's a closet. The closet in my classroom is empty. Half of the closet is always empty. And I have there a chair and a mini desk. And they can go inside with the iPads or with the MP4s or with the computers, with the laptops, with whatever, and record themselves. And I have always a flashlight, like a light there, so there is light there. So then the recording studio has been very important. And the listening center is a basket with 20 MP3 players where I have 38 books that have been in audio and a few that they want me to record. So one day in class, I read and I record my voice, and then I make it an MP3 file, and I added that to our MP3 players. So and the books are there, so it's like reading along. Or I also have music. And you know what? Don't be strict. Don't be so like square-minded to think that, oh, I say, you want to listen to music? Yes, they want to listen to music, and then they come back and ask you, what is that they are saying? And then they listen to the same thing so many times that they end up liking it. Just be careful what you have available for them, because you don't want your student coming back and asking you what a bad word means. So the listening center for me is I have the CD players, I have them for the music, and I have the MP3 players for the books, and they just listen. It's listening. The only thing is that they can access radio with the MP3s, but they know that if when I receive the MP3 is on radio mode, they are in trouble. And the big trouble is simply that I said to the kid, if it happens again, I'm calling home. And if it happens again, I call home or I just send an email. Please remind your son that when he receives the MP3, it's in radio, immediately they should come to me so I move it to audiobooks. I don't say your son was listening to the radio. I said, if by accident they go into radio mode, or it is in the radio when they take it, please remind them to talk to me immediately so I can help them put it in audiobook. Okay, so those are the learning centers. So playing games. I think that playing is so important, but they need to know the language before they can play with it. That's what I was asking you about bingo. Can we play now a bingo of, okay, I'm going to invite you right now. Let's play a bingo with the capitals of the states of Colombia. Can you play that game with me right now? No, because you don't know them. Yeah, can I tell you, okay, can you tell me what is the capital city of the state of Bolivar in Colombia? If you are from there, you know that is Cartagena. If you are not from there, forget it, you don't know. So then, can we play a bingo with the capitals of the countries? Only if they know them. So, play games at the end of the units. And I just bring here this because I really love this kind of games. All board games. Lori Clark does this with the students in middle school and high school. And she does sometimes that for an entire period, for an entire class. They rotate from game to game to game. She sets up like 8 games. 4 por 8, 32. Yes, 30 students. So then they start playing the game. And then she whistles and they have to switch to another game. Condition, they can only use Spanish. If they don't know anything, they have to be silent. So they either play in silence, and anything that they have to say has to be in Spanish. This is charades. The kids have to act out something, and the other part of the class screams what they are acting out. Any card game that requires language. So they have to, I do this, I told you before, and those of you who are new, I play Clue, the little board game Clue, that they have in the real game, they have to find who killed who, in which room, and with what. I play that at the end of all my units. But we don't kill people, we do things. So I give the cards to everybody with the names. So it's the members of the family. When you have family, it's the members of the family, things that we do with the family, and things that we have. Or all the rooms in the school, the people that are in the school, the things that we find in the school, and the things that we do with the things in the school. So it's like it's a sentence maker game. But they are trying to guess my cards. So they are going to say we play, it's like all of them are playing against me. So then I project all the words that everybody has, and then somebody says, let's say, the teacher writes on the board with the marker. And then the person who has teacher has to say, no, no es profesor. No, no escribe. No, no en el tablero. No, no con el marcador. Because they have that. So as they are giving me that, I block or change the color of the words on the board. So they all are trying to guess my 4 words. So then, but can they do that before the end of the unit? No. And if they don't know what the words mean, those are the kids that cannot play. So then they partner or they start asking questions, or everybody laughs and one kid doesn't laugh. And then I always pick up and ask the kid, you didn't laugh. Which word you don't know? I don't say to the kid, you stupid, don't know anything. So the kid says, oh, I don't remember what borrador means. Oh, that's eraser. Oh, no! And then the kid gets and he laughs. So it's the kids that don't react like the rest of the class are not understanding. Just pay attention to that. Fish, I think that is a great one. I put this here because I do this. In Spanish, I give instructions of the dances of Latin America. I'm a dancer. I love to dance. And I know the steps, the basic steps of almost every traditional dance in Latin America. So then I teach them in Spanish, like one step to the right, or the right foot to the right. So then everybody in my classroom learns right and left, leg and hand, to the front, to the back, to the right, to the left, because that's what we do when we dance. And then they also know how to say shake your hips, because it's very important in Latino dances. And that's all. So then, yes, play with the language. These activities, this is much more conducive to fluency than any ditos that you want. You don't need that. These are the activities. So in TPRS is the activity. You don't need to find any other thing. Just do it consistently. This is something else that even my good friends who are teachers are eclectic. They said to me that they don't understand how I still love them since they are eclectic. Because I think that eclecticism kills the process of learning, especially in a language. And especially since this genius that is Blaine created this magic method, because it works. And I think that this is exactly, when I'm saying this, I think that this is why Blaine is introducing the step 4. Because Blaine has always said, teach me something that works and I will change the method. Teach me something better than TPRS and I will do it. And I think that this is why he has accepted this, because it works. Because we have noticed that movie talk is really fun. Because we noticed that the kids love to sing, that the kids like to learn the song, that they are there, that everybody likes to play games. And at some point, everybody likes to write. Everybody likes to read. So then that's what the learning centers are. So I think that this is what I wanted to share with you today. So I'm going to stop sharing this thing and I'm going to bring back my face. Voila. Now please unblock those microphones and let's chat for a little while. Ask questions, whatever you want. Good, I'm seeing those microphones unblocked. So please, I'm here. Questions, comments, whatever you want. Requests.
Yeah, for back to school, the first day or two, what do you recommend is a good topic to start with? I mean, the traditional is, you know, me llamo, doy alto. That's like the basic. How do you TPRS that in a fun way?
That's what you want. You want to get to know your kids.
Yeah.
So then you need to know the names. Whatever they say they know, you want to ask for that. So for me, is the names. I am an elective, so my students don't know each other. They may not. So then we try to play a game when we know everybody's name. Anything that I know that they know, I ask. And I always ask, what did you do during the summer? And that's how I teach the past tense. I just, fuiste, hiciste, what did you do, where did you go? And then I make I love drawing. I'm not a good artist, but I love drawing. So then I make this whole thing with those who travel, and then they don't know the words. So then I make a decision. Either I let them talk in English and I immediately translate, even I know that they are not learning that, because that is, I don't know if you know that, that's called congruent translation. In congruent translation, the brain doesn't register the unknown language. So then what I do is that I create a chart. So then it's like, I have the kids, so I make faces, a face for each kid, and then what did you do? Did you travel? And then I say, viajaste, and then I tell them, like I use very few words. Viajaste. So then they say, sí or no. So then, a dónde? And dónde they know. And if they don't know, we remember that. And then I write or draw things where the kids went, or I put them in a big map. And then, ¿cómo viajaste? En tren, en avión, en carro, en bicicleta. And then I circle their answers. And if that takes the first 3 days, it's fine. They learn a lot. Just choose wisely which words you are going to be repeating all the time. Less is more. So, viajaste. Oh, ¿qué hiciste? Fuiste a campo de verano. These are important words for them to know. So then I ask that. Fuiste a campo de verano, dormiste en campo de verano, and I'm very theatrical, very dramatic. So then we do the thing, and then they answer, and I keep asking the same question. So then you think that they are not learning anything? They are learning. Fuiste, viajaste. And you know, some of them may love the word avión, and they will learn the word avión that day. So first days, as many as you want and as many as you need, get to know the students.
Okay.
And according to the age and according to what they know, stay there. And you get to know them.
Okay.
And they are different things you can find in TPRS, in more TPRS in the Yahoo group or in our websites. Ben Slavic has a game that is called The Balls of Sports. And it's that the kids have like a card and they have to draw their favorite sport. And with that, he starts getting to know them. Bryce presented a beautiful session in Washington. He spends the class in only 3 students, asking the same thing to everybody. And the first quiz is about the students. They need to be paying attention. They can take notes if they want.
Yeah, good idea.
And then the first quiz is who likes to play soccer? Who dislikes Tom Cruise? Who likes to dance rock? And what he asked in these mini interviews is where they live. I guess that he has kids from different towns. Who they live with, what they like, whatever. He has that for free. Do you know who I'm talking about or not?
No.
Bryce Hendrick. Okay, I'm going to add another slide in the, if you don't see my face right now, no, you see my face, but I'm not paying attention to you, forgive me. I'm going to go into the slide show, and I'm going to add right now one that says that is, how do you want me to put that? Suggestions for the first week?
Yes.
I know Carol Gaff has in TPR storytelling.
Carol has in her TPR storytelling, she has the first 2 weeks all planned out.
He has the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then Bryce, I love Bryce.
Yeah.
I hope I am spelling his
have
name. Bryce has that is really, really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, stay with that. Stay with the greetings. Stay with the mucho gusto. Get used to greet your students at the door. Bring them into the classroom. You are the hostess of the masters. So bring them in, receive them, Carol has, Brian has. I don't know if Karen Rowan has. My is just talk to them. Mine is very much ask for the summer.
Okay.
Get to know them through the summer. Like the first weeks is just get to know them.
Okay. So even if the conversation happened in English and you translate, you will still ask all that, like how they did in the summer, just so that you establish a relationship?
Exactly. It's your classroom. You decide.
Okay.
You decide if they can speak in English or not. You decide how much English you accept. You decide how much you translate. You decide. But the goal of the first weeks is to get to know them.
Do you model the routine for them, Kida?
No.
Do you model the routine, like you tell them where to sit and then they have to sit in that, or they have to sit in the carpet, or do you model that for them, or they are supposed to know that?
I invite them to the classroom, and right now I have seats, but do you want to be very envious of me? I'm going to have a grant to have exercise balls instead of
Nice.
chairs in my classroom. It's going to be the best classroom in the school.
Pretty cool.
Now nobody's wanted to leave my class.
I want to be there.
So, no, the routine is I don't do very much. And then the first time that a kid asks me how to go to the bathroom, I said to him, no sé inglés, ¿quieres ir al baño? So, señora, por favor, puedo ir al baño. And then we chant that, and I write it down, and I put it on the door. On the door of my classroom is the 5 things. Puedo ir al baño, puedo ir a la fuente de agua, puedo ir a la oficina, y puedo ir a la enfermería. But when the first kid says it, and then when the kid is doing that, I ask the class, the boy says, may I go to the bathroom? Or the boy says, may I go inside the notebook? And blah, blah, blah. So they hear, and they answer, and they say it, and we chant it. And then when he said out there, I ask the class, what did he say? Where is he? And then when he comes back, I greet him, and I tell everybody, where was he? So then they get to know those words. Especially enfermería, that is so different. Baño, they get it fast. But the other thing is that I'm teaching the structure, puedo ir. And I always tell them that in Latin America, we don't say that. In Latin America, we say, would you please permit me to go to the bathroom?
I could just imagine if you had a teacher
it will
that way.
be very, very unpolite to say, puedo ir al baño. You should ask, me da permiso de ir al baño. So then I tell them those things. It's culture embedded, but it's okay. They can say the other way. And you will find somebody who wants to learn the other one. So then that's the time when I write it and I put it there. They don't find that there. My classroom starts very empty and gets filled with all the things that they need. So the routine, the thing is that I'm very against that. They learn the routine as they break the rules.
Even the little tiny people?
My little tiny 3rd graders, yes. When they start talking, and I said, in my classroom, if I talk, you don't talk. Señora habla, los chicos, zípete, silencio. So then I just tell that, and or when one student is talking and somebody else is talking, I just look at them with a devil look, and then the kids get my attention, and then cuando el chico habla, la clase, silencio, no habla. So then that's how I teach the rules. And when I give the first homework, I teach them, I expect everybody to have it tomorrow, and if they don't have it the next day, I just remind them every time. So, yeah, those should be the activities during the first week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What kind of homework assignments do you assign, Piedad?
I'm sorry, I'm going to need to pick up this because it's my tenant. So he didn't. Okay, I don't know. Too bad. What kind of? I'm sorry?
Homework assignments do you assign?
My only assignments are to draw a story. I'm sorry, I need to pick this up. Hola, estoy en un workshop, así es que rapidito. Chao.
That was quick.
So would that be like the mini story that you were referring to before?
Yes,
have
that's
them
what I
illustrated?
do. I write a story that is based on the vocabulary that we are learning during that lesson. I only give one homework per lesson, which means one homework per week. And the homework is to illustrate my story. I tell them that I'm hiring them to be my illustrators. And these are the stories that are going to be available on Monday.
Okay.
Because
How
I have to
often do
start
you
working on Tuesday.
How often do you see your kids?
3 days in a row.
Okay.
45 minutes, 42, 45 minutes. So then the first day is new vocabulary. The second day is the storytelling. Then I give the story. And the third day we read. We read the story that was the story for the homework. And then I give them other readings or learning centers. Most of the time is learning centers. The third day is learning center. Yeah, I think that, and you know what? I did that also in high school. My homeworks have always been reading and illustrating the readings, or, you know, when I used to do with high school too, I will give them like really funny things. Like I found an article when I was teaching in high school in Ecuador. One day, a town had a blackout. And then when they did all the research, an iguana had gotten into a transformer. So can you imagine the iguana totally electrocuted? And they describe how black and electrocuted the poor iguana ended up. When they found the iguana was when they discovered what happened. So then it was a very short article. It was the funniest thing. That was the homework. To read the article. That was the only homework. And the next day, so then I asked a few questions, and then we read the article slowly and found that, like, they got the idea, but they didn't know all the details. At 9 o'clock. So that was I think that the homework should be compatible with TPRS. So
Thank you.
Okay, for homeworks, Christy, I'm going to write it here too. When you said suggestions for first week, I'm going to create the slide because I have it. It's suggestions for homework. Okay? I will do that. And Christy Placido has, I think that she has it in her website, a good collection of homeworks. In my opinion, homework should be always reading. Always. Always, always should be reading. If you are reading a novel, read part of the novel. If you are reading poems, read the poem. If you are doing this, you write the stories. Find books with the stories. Find the stories. And just read the story, underline the words that you don't know, and write on the border what you guess the meaning is, or if you look it up, what the meaning is. That's all.
Piedad, can you write the names of these authors somewhere?
I did. I'm going to.
Okay. Thank you.
Give me till a little later today
Okay.
or tomorrow morning, and I will complete that part, and I will share with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I just want to be sure. Do me a big favor. Those of you who were here, there is one person who left. Okay, somebody left. Send me an email to piedad@tprsofnewjersey.com, tprsofaj.com, where you receive the message for the newsletter. Send me an email telling me that you were with me today.
Okay.
Okay.
because I don't want to share like with the 17 people that said that we're going to be here.
Okay. Are you gonna send your slideshow?
Yes,
Okay.
and whatever else I have about this, I will put it in the same folder. Yes,
Thank you, Piedad.
Thank you so much.
yes. Oh, my
Piedad, otra preguntita.
sí.
¿Tus materiales van a estar disponibles pronto?
Sí, el lunes.
¿El lunes?
Sí.
Ok.
Prometo, el lunes van a estar listas las 3 unidades de cada año. If you go into my website, mis materiales, mis cartillas,
Yo he ido ahí.
that's what I'm going to do.
Ok.
Yes.
And what I want to do is just that, is the dollar store. You
Okay.
only want one story, get a story. Like you go for a song, for a story. And if you want all the stories for a unit, get them, the album.
Okay. No, so like I went the other day and I couldn't find it when I was planning my first 2 weeks.
Yes.
I was like, oh, Piedad.
No, the thing is that it's not that easy to run your own website.
Yeah.
And then I don't have a business.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot pay for somebody to do that because my goal is not to have a business.
Yes.
For those who the business is that, like they do that, but for me it's not a business. I want just to share what I'm doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, so then it's easy if we do it through the website and that's all.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Gracias.
You're welcome. Okay,
Take
chicas,
care.
thank you very much.
Gracias.
Good luck,
That
everyone.
you wanted to learn with
Thank
me.
you, you too.
Have a good
Thank you.
night.